Messy on Purpose, and I have Scottie with us today, and he's all the way from Texas, right? Austin, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fun fact, I was born in Austin, Texas.
Really?
So,
Wow.
And you are the second person in a week that I've had on from Texas.
That's awesome.
So,
Represent.
yeah. So, you want to just kind of tell a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go from there?
Yeah, I'm a functional aging specialist, and what that means is I help people age well. I also, on the side, I love sports, and so I do a lot of mental performance with like young athletes and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then I do my own podcast, Just Be with Scottie G, and I'm a huge sneakerhead. So usually people have questions about sneakers and things like that. So.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not a big sneaker person. I've never really quite understood that, like the whole like certain shoe thing. I'll just be like, oh, those look cool, you know.
I think it's like collecting anything, like anything you're into that thing, you collect that thing, and I've been doing this since I was a kid, so like.
Everybody's got their things.
Yeah.
I just don't have like items. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
Y'all go on a lot of trips. Y'all do a lot of stuff like that.
I just like to try different things.
Yeah.
Like this, like you know what I mean? Like just try different things. It's
Sure.
Just, I don't get stuck on anything.
Yeah.
My husband's a car guy, so we have enough addiction right
Okay, there you go. Yeah, that's his thing. Yeah.
So a little bit about what you do. So what does that mean?
So I started off as just a personal trainer, just training and all that kind of stuff. And I was lucky enough to have this guy, his name was Dave. When I met Dave, he was 79 years old. And then he passed away from old age, like under my care at like 91.
Oh, wow.
So I got to see like that last half of your life. I got to see what's going to happen with my parents. I got to see what's going to happen to me. Right? So it made me start approaching and looking at health and fitness and all these things in a totally different way, right? Because a lot of times we do health stuff for like vanity reasons, or we got, we want to do something, or we're trying to like CrossFit or whatever.
Yeah.
But we don't ever just think about like being healthy for the longevity of our lives. And a lot of those same paths are, the same for longevity, right? It's a lot of the same stuff. And so I just started approaching it in a different way and approaching my clients in a different way. And I think it's been huge. I've been able to help people way more than I was before, just because not only do I dig in on the mental and the physical part of it, but like, kind of like, what's your purpose? Like I have clients that retire and they're just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm like, we got to find something. You got to find some reason to be, right? To have a reason to get up in the morning and do things. And so I try to do that with all my clients, encourage them not only to like work out and do all your stuff, but get hobbies and get out in the community and be involved and like be active in your own life, take charge of your own life. And so, so that's kind of what I do now. I don't know if that was a good explanation.
So you mostly work with like kind of like the later in life type people for the most part?
So here's the thing. No one likes to recognize that we're getting old and we're aging.
Yeah. Right?
So when I say like I'm a functional aging specialist, people are like, oh, you work with old people? I'm like, no, I work with everybody because we're all aging, right? And like probably, like that 30 to 50 range is probably where everything starts to go into hell in a handbasket. We get our sit down job, we get too stiff, we get too tight, we don't work out, we eat poorly, blah, blah, blah. And so a lot of my clients are in that range, right? Yeah. And trying to build not only healthy habits for like now, but like for the rest of their lives, you know what I mean? Because Dave taught me much more about my job and what my purpose is than I ever learned, like, just reading books or looking at magazines or studying for fitness and stuff like that. He made me really realize that like, wow, like you're gonna be here for a long time. And you want to be like the last 10 years of life, you want to be able to go like, go do things. You don't want to be just like stuck in an old folks' home. You want to be stuck at your own home. So if you're not taking care of that now, it can really like, you could be stuck at home.
The moment you stop living, you basically die, right?
Right. When you stop like going out and doing things and stuff like that. And some of us die at like 30.
Yeah. No, I know people that have gave up at a very young age. I mean, adults when I was a kid that gave up and haven't changed, since.
And I think some people sometimes associate that with like partying, like, oh, like I'm not young anymore, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is that like go be active in your own life. Don't just sit at home. Don't just doom scroll. Don't, like go like and like I'm real big on like serving other people because there's nothing better than just like helping somebody out just for the hell of it, right?
Right.
And if you kind of, especially like it builds a lot of gratitude and gratefulness. And as we get old, we get all like miserable and grumpy and stuff like that. And like nobody does nothing for us and nobody's helping me and blah. But if you go out and you kind of do that stuff, it kind of re-engages you into life. And I think a lot of times too, as we get old, not only are we losing our friends and our partners and our family and things like that because we're getting old, we start to feel like there's an isolation that comes on. So if you're not actively trying to re-engage into life and you just hold on to the friends and family things you have, they're gonna all pass. You're gonna pass, right? So you have to constantly be trying to re-engage, meet new people, all that kind of jazz. So
I found it interesting that you said you did, like, people associate the partying, when the partying stops, life stops. And it's so funny because I actually quit drinking in my later 20s. So like long before most people even thought about it, right? And I honestly didn't feel like I was living until after I quit partying.
Well, you know, I kind of, okay, so like I got married and I got divorced like really quickly. This is a long story I won't go into. And then I met my girlfriend that I had before, and now we have a child together. So it's a whole mess, but mess on purpose.
That's just life.
Yeah,
That's just life.
And so anyways, it was after I had my daughter that everything started to change for me. And because I was like, now I'm the example that she sees, right? So like if I'm being ugly to somebody or not helping someone or not doing these things, if I'm not showing that example, then she doesn't see that example, and then what does she see and stuff like that. And so I really kind of have stopped drinking in the last, like, I didn't drink hard at all, but I've almost completely quit drinking in the last like 4 years, just because I was like, I want to show up every day as my best person for her and for my family and for everybody else. And so it just changed, you know. But some of us have to grow. It takes longer, a little bit longer.
Yeah,
grow out of it,
sometimes
you know?
it does. And it's not even necessarily that you have to completely remove it. It's just, if that's all you're doing outside of, you know, going to work every day,
Well, I was
I don't get it.
Well, I was just thinking, when I'm on my podcast, a lot of times if the guest wants to have a drink, we'll have a drink, and I'll have a drink with them. It doesn't big deal, but like,
I'll cheers you with a lemonade.
yeah, but you know, like I'll have that one drink, and I can really tell the difference between my sleep. And then I started thinking about like all the nights we go out and party, be hungover, go watch football on Sunday, drink again, hungover on Monday. And I was like, God, I'm so glad I'm not doing that anymore. And I can enjoy football and I can go do things. Like, you know what I mean? I think some of that's just like being young. And I think some of it is, I hadn't really dealt with all my own personal stuff.
I was just going to say that's a huge part of it. If you're not comfortable with who you are, typically you're using alcohol to mask that so you feel better and you can actually like associate with people. It's a crazy concept.
It's crazy because I didn't even think I was kind of doing that. And even sitting here right now, I don't know if I was really doing that, but there has to be some level of it, because otherwise, like, why was I doing it? And why do I feel like I don't need it now? And it just kind of like, it just went away, you know what I mean?
Well, and it's like a different kind of confidence, right? Like it gives you almost like a confidence boost because you don't care. But when you're confident in who you are, the confidence shows all the time.
Sure.
And you don't need anything to help you like socialize and interact in a room full of people you don't know and things like that. Like I'm not ashamed to be silly in front of somebody because I'm confident in who I am.
Sure, yeah.
You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think again, like, you know, my daughter really helped that because, you know, there's nothing, I don't say there's nothing I wouldn't do for her, but like, you know, she was like, hey Daddy, we're gonna like paint nails and like color, you know, put makeup on your face. Totally
You're
down.
like, okay.
Yeah, totally down. Like you want to do stuff with me, and so my whole like, you know, what do people think about me kind of fell out when it became, well, what does she think about me? Because what you think about me is irrelevant compared to what she thinks and how important she is to me, right? So like if I'm being good for her, then it has to be good enough for you. I mean, that's just me.
And if it's not, you're just not my people.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that
No.
either. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people, you know, we even get upset when we get excluded from groups we don't even want to be in. You know what I mean?
Used to. I don't anymore.
No, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like people get upset about stuff they don't even want. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I'm just not like
It's like that. Like I want to be invited, but I'm not going to come.
Right. Yeah, I want to feel important, but just like whatever I want to do with it. And that's not kind of how that works. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's where like you end up saying it, that exact example, right? Like now you get invited and you feel like you can't say no. Now you're showing up to something you didn't even want to be a part of to begin with. And it's just like this whole cycle of wasted time.
Yeah. You know, and just, you know, I put my intentions into so much more stuff. that makes me better now, and it makes my life with my daughter and my girlfriend better now. And I just don't have time to put I don't have enough intention to put on that. You know what I mean? Somebody makes me mad. I don't have time to put intention on that. I got other stuff I got to do.
Time is a big factor.
This just happened just the other day. I was pulling out of a parking spot, and there was like a car behind me, and there's a lot of cars, and it's a busy parking lot, and I pull out, and I kind of seen this dude was like running, like exercising through the parking lot, right? And I just didn't see him. Like, it was a total accident. So as I just didn't see him, I stopped and I kind of went, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I drove, right? That dude chased me with my daughter in the truck, like down the parking lot, came down an aisle, and I was like, am I have to whoop this dude's butt, like right in front of my daughter? You know what I mean? And I was just like, so fast forward to today, right? I was going to Starbucks, I was going to cross the street, and this truck had a right-hand turn. He was going to turn. I was like, oh, sorry. He goes, oh, sorry. And we just moved on about our way, right?
So
you know what I mean?
Lighter.
Yeah, I don't, that guy didn't have time for that. I didn't have that. The other guy had plenty of time, apparently. And like, what a wasted time to waste it on me when it was an accident and all that kind of stuff, you know? I just don't have that energy. I can't believe that people take the time to have that energy, you know?
I think a lot of that is going back to that purpose you were talking about. There's so many people that actually don't have purpose.
Yes.
They really don't. They go to their 9-to-5 job, they come home, they eat dinner, watch Netflix, go to bed, scroll social media for validation.
Yep.
And like, that is life, and that is a lot of our society. And I think if you don't have any purpose or anything to live for, you have that extra time where you can dwell on something so small, like getting cut off in traffic or whatever.
So the reason other than being here for you today, the reason I'm in Las Vegas is I'm on a little podcast tour of my own. So I'm stopping here in Vegas, I'm going to California, and then I'm going to Arizona, right? And not every time, a lot of times people go like, why do you do a podcast? Why are you doing it? And I'm like, I don't know I kind of don't know. Like, I know like kind of why we started and what we started doing, but at this point it's evolved into something totally different, right? And so I'm trying to really figure out what that is.
So you don't know what your why is right now?
Of why I do the podcast?
Yeah.
I do and I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I do it because
you know why you started it, but why do you keep going?
But okay, so I actually started my podcast. It was originally called A Moderately Good Podcast. That's what the name of the podcast was. And I just started with my friends, and we were just kind of goofing off, and I was inviting my friends over, and I got a couple other people to do some things or whatever. And then at some point it evolved into the thing that, wrapped in with my like coaching, right? And so it changed into something like totally like different, even though it was already evolving like that way, right? And so the original purpose was like me goofing off with my friends. And so this new purpose,
it's fun.
Yeah, which is fun, right?
Yeah.
But this new purpose is kind of like, I think about like my daughter thinks I'm on TV. You know what I mean? Because she sees.
How old's your daughter?
She's 5.
5. Okay, so that's like the perfect age to like think that's so cool.
Yeah, like and she takes singing lessons and she loves to sing. Her mom's a musician, so there's this whole thing. And so she'll see me on TV and she'll go like, "Daddy, you're on TV." She has no idea, like what that means, right? And so when I think about like her and showing that there doesn't have to be ceilings or roofs. You know what I mean? Like, you can go as far as you go. You have to work hard. As hard as you work is to where you'll go. Like if you do that, there is no ceiling, right?
Yeah.
And if I can show her that through the podcast, if something were to happen to me, she would know who I was. I think sometimes I hope that like I have a brother and we grew up the same way, and some of the feelings and things I process on the podcast, I hope that maybe that helps him.
Yeah.
Allegedly, my parents listen to it, and so maybe they know what kind of son they raised, but like this is all like good, and it does feel like I have purpose, but at the same time I'm kind of like, but why am I doing it? Like what is my part of it? And I don't know if I really know, other than serving others the way I have.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like it's just that like that want to serve others, right? You make a difference in a couple people's lives, it's worth it.
There's this other part though, so I've been doing my podcast for 5 years. And I only put out 26 episodes a year, right? Every other week. And so there's this weird because I'm consistent with it. It's the same thing every week. I have a schedule, the whole thing, right? And there's something weird about that consistency that, like, I don't know, it keeps me like going. And then you know what I mean? Like I'm recorded until next year. Like if I stop what I'm doing now, like what happens to all that stuff I recorded, right? And the weird part about that is all that I don't have time for TV. I don't have time to doom scroll. I'm too busy putting all my energy into like going on a podcast tour I'm too busy doing this to worry about doom scroll, those kinds of things. I don't have time. So I don't know. Maybe the purpose for me is just to like help me be the best person I can be, you know?
Well, it does help you, right? Like you're continuously doing something over and over again to get better and better at it.
Yeah, but that was, the crazy part. That wasn't the start, right? Like that wasn't why it started. So it was almost like this gift that was given to me that I didn't know I was getting, And I tried, when the very beginning, like one of my buddies does like video, and so he'd come in, he'd set up the video, and also, and then, slowly, like I was like, oh, he's like, I'm not coming over, and like this person's not helping this person, and so then it just becomes just me, right? And so once it became just me, I was like, well, I can do whatever I want, and then that's probably maybe where it kind of started evolving to something different,
Yeah. Well, and like when you show up every day and you do those things that you tell yourself you're going to do, it develops that discipline and that confidence in you that you can do anything. So telling yourself that you're going to be consistent with this, I'm going to put out an episode every other week, and I've done it for 5 years. Like that is some discipline that you are showing yourself that you can literally do anything you set your mind to. So it's kind of a weird mental thing. But like I'm like that with everything. Like I do an episode every Monday on this. I just started this in December. I have not missed a Monday since December last year. And like that is because I have to have that discipline. I don't want to edit these a lot of the time. And like it's so much work and it's hours of your time. And like it could have been easy just to be like, I'm just not going to make it this week. But I can't do that because then that's showing myself that I can listen to that little bee voice in my head.
Yeah.
And like it makes me weak. And I refuse to be weak. I can do anything. I just have to do the things that I tell myself I'm going to have to do.
What's your biggest takeaway from doing the podcast so far? Just out of curiosity.
So the whole reason I started this is because we learn in the messy middle, right? So we don't learn in the highlight reels that you see on Instagram. We don't learn in the mentorships that you see the shiny things, right? Like you join a mentorship and they're like, oh, you can make this kind of money doing this. But they don't tell you where they messed up along the way. They don't tell you the little mishaps, the things to avoid, the things that you can learn from. So the idea is to bring that out in every aspect of life, whether that's, through work, through, your own venture, to hobbies, to relationships, to anything. Literally is self-growth, anything. And I started this with somebody. I don't know if you've seen any of the older. No. So there's older podcasts, and I started it with a friend. And we're actually no longer friends. We just went different paths. She had to work on herself, which is fine. And I wanted to keep going. Careful not to get too far out of frame.
Sorry.
I'm like, I don't think I have it too far.
Am I good?
We're going to find out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like my knees are right up on you. So
I can actually scoot over a little bit if that helps. But so I started it with somebody else. And I've wanted to start a podcast for a really long time before I even did this. And I just didn't know how. I didn't know where to start. I don't have a clue about lighting. I just happen to have some lights, you know what I mean? Like, I made this backdrop, it's just like, you didn't know where to start, what to do. And then I finally had somebody to do it with. And sometimes that kind of gives you that extra push. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of started out like we were making content for her salon. And then I was like, we should start a podcast. Like we got along really great. The conversation always flowed really well. And I was like, let's do it. And so we did it. And it started with just me and her just kind of talking. And we had a couple friends on as guests and stuff like that. And it kind of slowly, it started with the name and everything. Like it started with the message behind it, the idea that I wanted. And basically she was just kind of like the guest. I pretty much still did everything. It's just, I'm crazy like that and I have to be in control. But yeah, so it all kind of came together, and then it just got really frustrating because she needed to work on personal things, and like it was affecting the dynamic. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I think we just gotta separate, like just normal. There's no feelings involved, like at all. Like I would still go see her at the salon, but she didn't want me to. And, you know, like, so like no feelings involved, we just can't, this isn't working. So separated it, did a quick, like, I mean, within a week, I had to have somebody on, I had to record, I had to like do a complete rebrand, everything. And I did all of this in a week. And then kind of rebranded it, and it's just kind of grown from there. I started with just people that I had around here that I could have in person, because I was like, I haven't done any virtual people, so like, you know, and then finally I was just like, screw it, let's try it. And I threw it out there in Facebook groups, and I was just like, hey, who wants to be a guest? And like, I mean, I had 40 some responses in 2 days.
That's awesome.
Of people that like resonated with the name and the message, basically. And it was, that to me was eye-opening, and means that I'm doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just pushed me to keep going. And it was just, I don't know.
Tell me, okay, I got another, I know this is your podcast. I have one more question. Tell me about that week of rebranding. I'm curious about that. How was that week?
So it was one of those things, like I knew this conversation was coming. And like, you know how you get gut feelings?
Mm-hmm.
I had that. And I was sitting on it, and it was just like, things were just really weird. And I was going to talk to her when we were going to do, like, we scheduled a time to record a couple episodes so we can get ahead, because I like to get ahead. And kind of like you, how you have a year out. I don't have quite that much out, but I did at one point have a couple months out. But yeah, so I wanted to do a couple, so that way it wasn't so like, because it was so hard to schedule with her and everything too. And so I was like, let's just do a couple. And then she ended up, instead of like, because things were a little weird, so I was like, oh, I'm going to have a conversation with her. If I have to rebrand, let me think about this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I had this kind of flowing already. And then she brought her brother, and I couldn't talk to her. And then, so I had a couple days to like think about it. And then there was an event that she asked me to help with. And so I was like, okay. And I showed up to the event, but like she had zero communication within those couple days for me. So I didn't even know what I was supposed to help with. I ended up showing up and like another friend of mine put on the event. So I ended up helping anyways,
Mm-hmm.
just not her. But she just acted super cold towards me. So I left there, and all I could think about was like, what am I going to do? That it was just like the fight or flight, and I'm fighting all the way. So like I spent the rest of that Saturday thinking about that. I spent all of Sunday, and I messaged her on Monday. Monday I started rebranding stuff. By Tuesday I had everything rebranded. The website, like the digital stuff, like everything was rebranded. I had reached out to a friend to be on the podcast, like just so I can get an episode recorded. I planned for like an introduction to like basically season 2, right? Like, hey, we're kind of changing this up. It's going to be me, and going from there, and did all of just pounded it out.
Because the only reason I asked is when I rebranded my podcast from A Moderately Good Podcast to Just Be, I did like, it was kind of a very similar thing. Something like just hit me on a day, and I was like, oh, it had like, my coaching stuff was already this, but it was like, it can just be this. And so in that day, I went, bought all the domain names, changed all my social media, went back and rebranded. Like it took me like, because I had already done a bunch of podcasts. So to make it all look uniform, I just rebranded all the cover art, right? I had to go make cover art for all that stuff. And it took
so much work.
It took a couple of days. And I remember at the beginning feeling like, oh, this feels like a mountain that I'm gonna have to climb, right? And then you kind of just start like, how do you eat an elephant? Like one bite at a time, right? You just kind of one bite at a time. And then you get just this rhythm, and you're just like, okay. And that's like everything. That one little thing made me realize like, oh, you know, sometimes your gut, when it says make a change, like you should trust your gut, make a change.
Yep.
Right?
100%.
Like when you're feeling that, like do it. So, you know, and something like you said, like you're like, hey, I was going to talk to her, but it wasn't the right time. I'm trying to get the right time, and like in waiting, feeling timing, right?
Yeah.
And like that feeling of timing, trusting my gut. I mean, it was the best thing I did for my podcast. I feel like, you know, because it just
you have to like you
and
just
I
have to.
And I didn't want to let go. I love the name of Moderately Good Podcast because it just sums up everything that I'm just like moderately good at everything. Like moderately.
What
good
was in your gut that was telling you it had to be changed? Like what made you like feel like you had to change it?
Well, I had a friend come on, And every time I do my podcast, when I'm done, I always ask people for feedback. Like, how can I be better? What can I do? What'd you think? Give me your opinions. What'd you like? What'd you dislike? Because, like, I just want feedback. I just want to know. And he goes, man, the name of your podcast really doesn't represent what you do here, you know? And I was like, fair, but I'm not ready to change it. And so, I don't know what episode that was. We'll say it was like, I think it was in the 60s. And then, you know, months go by and like this podcast is produced way out. And I get to close to like episode like 75 right in there. And I had this opportunity to kind of flip the name almost seamlessly. Like, you know, and I was like, either you take it or you don't take it. Boom. And I just did it. And it just made sense and it felt good. And like ever since, it's just felt like that's what it was supposed to be. Even though I love that name, like on my website, I have old merch on there. Like, just like, you know, old stuff for the Molly Good podcast, because my friend did all the artwork and all this stuff. But the new podcast is like the new name's so much better. It's exactly what I do. It's like, it's just be with me. And so you come in the garage, you sit with me, it's, you know, it's perfect. So.
It's funny how like we'll get attached to something. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of get like you have some kind of attachment to like how much you like it, even if it doesn't fit, but your gut's telling you something else. Like sometimes you just have to make that adjustment. You have to push to the next level.
So, I guess I started growing my hair out in 19, I think is when I started growing my hair out. And I've had my hair short pretty much my whole life. And like last week, my girlfriend loves my hair long. And I went to her and I said, I'm gonna cut my hair. And she goes, no, you can't, like, whatever. And I was like, no, I'm over it. Like, I'm over it, you know, I'm gonna cut my hair. She's like, don't do it, And then there was a week in between the haircut. And the whole week I was like, and all this stuff. And then I just went and I just cut like all my hair off.
Is that why you're wearing the beanie? Because
no,
you're still like not liking it?
No, this thing, this has become like, it's weird. This has become my look. It's just a thing. It's just my thing. This is like my safety blanket at this point. Like I've thought I've lost this beanie like twice and was like so devastated and found it. I mean, it's like my go-to, right? And so, no, the reason I'm wearing the beanie is just because it's my thing. Yeah. My haircut, I'm totally fine. And I also like, I don't care about my hair. She cares about my hair, but I don't care about my hair, so.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, not to me, to her.
Well, especially if you rock the beanie most of the time.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like I always had my hair pulled up. I very seldom wore it down. You know, I'm always wearing this beanie.
How long was your hair?
Well, at one point it was like down to here.
Oh, dang. Okay.
And then when I cut it, it was about like right here. But I just had it long for so long, I was just over it. My hair was real thick. It's Texas. It's hot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you probably got a lot of that here too. You know what I mean? Hot. You know.
It's a different kind of hot in Texas.
Humid, super humid.
Bad.
Not good for hair there. No. I guess hair's great here, huh? Like.
Oh yeah, no. Like, so I grew up in the Midwest, which is very, very humid, and very much like Texas somewhere, and literally my hair would go like you just couldn't do anything. It was just being a ponytail like all of summer, and now like I can actually do stuff with it and it doesn't do anything, so I love the dry heat.
Yeah, so I just cut it off, but it was one of those things like it hit me one day, like I was just like, I'm done with it. And as soon as I was done with it, I just made an appointment. I just went, got a haircut.
I mean, even if it takes a long time, it grows back.
I mean, it just, you know, I'm really into like meditation stuff and whatever. And there's this great guy, his name is John Kabat-Zinn. He wrote this book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. It's one of my favorite books. Anyways, but the point of it is like whatever you're doing at that moment is the most important thing you're doing, right? And that time, things just happen over time. So like, you know, when I think about my hair, it's just something that happens over time. I don't think about this loss that I have, or it's got to grow out to here. It's just time, you know what I mean? So.
I think it's a little different for men than women too, though.
100%. And also, like, if my hair had always been long and I cut it off, that'd be one thing. But for most of my life, my hair's been short, and so it's only been long for
it's just a phase.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You see that all the time, right?
Yeah. I remember growing up, there was like a short phase of like the skater boys and their long hair.
Or even for like women, like I'm old, but like Jennifer Aniston, like everybody had to have the Jennifer Aniston haircut back in the day, you know, those kinds of things. Like there's just these moments in time, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like there's those phases, right? Like you're starting to see some of the like later '90s, early 2000s clothes coming back.
100%. Like baggy clothes are coming back, and I'm here for it. I'm all here for baggy
See,
clothes.
I was never a baggy clothes kind of person.
I was just kind of person, like, I'm just not, I've never been like some just really ripped up guy. And so being insecure as I was when I was younger, it was just easier to wear baggy clothes.
I feel like you got like the skater boy kind of look.
I was
to you,
totally,
you know?
I was totally into like skating and the whole deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my jam.
Did you? So have you always lived in Texas, or are you from somewhere?
Yeah,
else?
I'm born and raised in Texas. I grew up in this little town called Edna. It's about
Okay.
25 miles south of Victoria, which is like the biggest town. Houston's about 2.5 hours in a different direction.
Okay.
But there's only like 5,000 people in my hometown. And so, like, I grew up there, grew up in Texas, and then I ended up going to, let's say I went to San Marcos and then Houston and then back to Austin. And I've been here, well, in Austin ever since. Yeah.
Do you like living in Austin the most out of everywhere you
Oh
live?
man, I miss Houston a lot.
Yeah.
I miss that. That's my kind of city. Not that Austin isn't great, but like, you know, just like having like the 3 sports teams and like just there's so much to do and it's like so big. It's my jam. I'm a big rap music fan too. So like it's got great rap music. So I'm
It's just got a little different vibe to it.
yeah. I mean, and Austin's like great. It's just I don't know, like Austin's great because, like, you know, it has a super healthy vibe and like it's super community driven and stuff, all these things that you want. It just I don't know, Houston just speaks to me more, I guess. You know what I mean? It's just more my vibe.
I don't know much about Houston. I haven't spent a lot of time there, but we go through Austin occasionally, and we'll like go for a comedy show and
Yeah.
like barbecue.
Yeah, those are now, like, I mean, now that there's a lot of comedy there, I mean, it's huge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, and like the music scene's big, you know, I mean, so there's always concerts and stuff to see there.
We got really lucky. So last time we were in Austin, we went to one of Tony Hinchcliffe's shows, right?
Kill Tony?
It was like with his, not Kill Tony,
Okay.
It was like Tony and Friends.
Okay.
And we got to see Ron White
Oh, that's
and
so cool.
Shane Gillis.
Shane Gillis,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like we got really lucky because it doesn't tell you who it is.
Right.
And like to be able to see Ron White in like a smaller venue was
Sure.
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like what those guys have done to bring comedy to Austin has just been awesome.
Super cool.
Yeah, super cool. I mean, it just helps. It just makes the city that much better. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
to have another spot for other stuff to come through that's interesting and stuff like that.
I will say that downtown area though is a little stabby.
Well, you know, it's crazy. So when I was growing up, it sounds like I'm 100 years old. You could, I mean, you know, you probably know this. You could walk on 6th Street, right? So they shut down 6th Street on the weekends, and you just walk on the street, stuff like that. But they don't have that anymore. They have actually barricades that are on the sidewalks, and you have to like stay on the sidewalk. And they actually have traffic Friday and Saturday nights, which like I guess was to cut down like, you know, crime and like things like that.
Yeah.
But man, like, you know, kind of part of like 6th Street was like walking on 6th Street. You know,
It was
like,
the chill part of it.
well, it's, you know, I mean that the street was closed and everybody could walk through and you could meet your friends and stuff like that. It's kind of like Bourbon Street in that way, right? But I guess like to your point, there's too much stabbing going on, too many bad things going on,
Well,
and there was.
It just feels uneasy, I guess, and it's probably because we don't drink or anything either. So you walking sober around all of this stuff going on, and I don't know.
That's the other thing too, right? Like in being more recently like sober and have stopped drinking. Like, and this is my first time to Vegas without really drinking. Right?
It's a different vibe.
So
isn't
it's a different vibe, right? Because like when you're drinking, you don't notice that other people are drinking. You don't notice how intoxicated other people are.
Well, and the unawareness of just your surroundings in general, like you just are a little more free flow. Whereas like when you're sober, you're paying attention to everything.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, that has been another just a big, you know, but again, like when your life's a mess, when you're not taking care of yourself, you're not doing those things probably seem great and they fit what's going on and they fit the role that they're supposed to have. But, you know, when you change your lives, those roles change. And sometimes, like, you know, you said like letting go of stuff, how important it is to let go. Like a lot of people don't want to let go of alcohol. And it might be the one thing that's like kind of holding you back too, you know?
Well, a lot of people use substances in general, not just alcohol,
Sure.
but just in general. Substances are to forget, right?
Mhm.
To not care. They want to feel nothing. That is the idea.
Right.
And that's where they end up in other things and like these prescription drugs and stuff. Or so, I mean, Xanax is like the most popular, you know, prescribed don't feel anything kind of drug,
Sure,
right?
sure,
Like,
yeah.
I've never had one, but I just learned a little more about it the other day. But But like, it's just the idea is they just want to feel nothing.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to sit with like how you feel and deal with your stuff. You just want to forget. And I think we sit in that for too long, and then we don't go anywhere.
Well, I had a girl on my podcast, and she was talking about like journaling, and I'm always trying to I journal on my phone, but I'm always trying to get my clients to journal, right? And she was saying, like if you actually journal, right, and you start writing your thoughts and stuff like that, and you're complaining and like being, you'll get tired of it.
Yeah.
You're writing it and reading it, and hopefully you're like, God, this sucks. I gotta change this, right? Yeah. And I've never really thought of it like that. Is that like, part of that journaling and getting that stuff out is processing that and not sitting in it. You know what I mean? Because like you said, we have such a tendency to have something happen and then just not respond and just sit in it and wallow, you know what I mean, and complain and be like,
Well, think about listening to somebody complain about the same thing 20 times. Same thing 20 times. You just keep coming back. I gave you a solution. You don't do anything with it, right? That's the same thing as like journaling those same thoughts, it's only to you. So now you're taking in that repeated complaining. Maybe. So I can see where you would like be like sick of it, right? Because I get sick of it when people complain to me about the same thing.
Maybe that's why my clients won't journal, because they complain to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I become their journal, you know what I mean? Because like you said, like I have clients that they come to me with the same problems, and we're talking about the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And so like every time I'm trying to like, okay, well, what's a different way I can approach this to get some awareness to them that this is like you gotta do something, I have a client right now, and man, like he's a big drinker, he's a big eater, he's a big traveler, he's big.
I was gonna say he's gotta be big.
He's big, right?
Yeah.
And he sees me, he sees me very, because he's traveling and doing all this stuff. He only sees me like once a week or once every other week, something like that. And every week he comes in, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And I keep telling him, I'm like, look, I'm not a miracle worker. I have no magic pill. Like, you got to start doing some stuff on your own, or this is just going to get worse. What we do together gets worse.
Well, I tell people all the time, because I do some health and fitness coaching too, and like, I can give you all the tools in the world. I can give them to you for free.
Yeah.
Like, I can give you everything you need, but if you don't do anything with it, nothing's going to change. Because nothing changes unless you do.
Right, yeah. I mean, and like, I think, back to like creating a podcast, not knowing what you're doing, just like figuring it out. It's like, just start like taking some steps towards anything. Like, just start, one of my clients once told me, is like, your life's like a boat in the middle of the ocean, right? Like, you could pick a direction, but then if there's a storm or something happens, you just change directions.
Yeah. You
don't have to start over. You have to go back to port. Just change directions and find a new direction that's good and safe and works or it's better, And that's what I really try to do. It's like, when something goes bad, change direction. Okay, what do we got to do to get this back on course to what we need, And
the problem is most people stop.
Yeah, they stop.
As soon as there is any type of bump in the road, it's, I can't do it anymore.
I think that's over. I think that's podcasting a little bit too, right? Like the first guest that doesn't show up, the first person that rejects you, the first recording that you forget to hit record, the first recording that you erase.
My dog knocked down the camera.
The first time your dog knocks down the camera, you're just like, well, fuck it, why am I doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like those are the moments where you just got to go like, hey, like this is just a moment. This is not the whole thing. How can I fix this? How can I make this moment the best I can and just move this whole thing forward, right? You know what I mean?
That's all you can do.
Yeah, and I just don't think that, we don't practice and the tools and all that kind of stuff enough.
I think it's putting action. That's the scariest part of anything, right? Even if you hit a bump, right? Like we hit a bump and now we have to like figure out what the new action plan is.
Right.
It's all of that is just starting. Once you start, everything else just kind of plays into, you know what I mean?
Unless you're a perfectionist, right?
But you have to get away from that.
Yes.
You can't do anything in life if you're trying to be a perfectionist because nothing's ever going to be perfect.
Yes.
There's been a lot of times that like I'll think about starting something like this is, I mean, in like my early like 20s and stuff, like before like I actually worked through my bullshit. But like you would think through something and have this idea and want to do this thing, but you don't ever take action because it doesn't seem like it's the right time. People are going to judge you. You don't have enough. You don't have enough experience, that imposter syndrome. I mean, starting a career even, like, we were talking to my husband's buddy yesterday about, like, a new career path, right, for him. I was like, when you're doing your resume, embellish a little bit, never not apply because you don't think you have the skill sets. It doesn't mean you can't build the skill sets, right? Like there's things that we hold ourselves back from just because we're afraid of failing.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. Just start. That's literally all I tell people is just start. If anything, I've stumbled my way through a lot of stuff. Half the time, my husband tells people that I can do stuff like graphic design, and I just gotta figure it out.
Well, I think, you know, I have certain podcasts I listen to, and a lot of the stuff I listen to is like self-help, motivational type of things or whatever. And, you know, a lot of people just like fuck around and try to find out. Like they just try something and just like, you know, people that teach themselves the guitar, people that do podcasts on their own, stuff like that. And so, you know, when people are like, well, what advice do you have? I'm like, well, just start doing stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just start making stuff. If you have a question, go to YouTube University, ask them, ask a friend, ask me, right? But just like
the amount of resources to learn anything anymore.
Like, oh God, I don't remember what this quote was. I'm gonna mess it up. But I'm not even gonna try to do it. But what I'm trying to say is that to say I don't know right now in 2025 is just like an excuse, because there's ChatGPT, there's you can find answers everywhere. If you just go on your Facebook and go, how do I do this? 15 of your friends are gonna comment. So like there's no reason, there's no point of saying like I don't know. You're just basically saying like I just haven't tried or I haven't looked yet. You know what I mean? And like now you're talking about when you take care of your bullshit instead of being held captive to those thoughts of imposter syndrome stuff and like, oh, I don't know. I just go like, and then people do it to me, it makes me so mad. But I just go, okay, well, I'm just gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
what's the worst that could happen?
Isn't it the worst when somebody asks you a question that's a simple Google search?
Okay, so one, I'm always grateful. Like, so we'll say, for example, like with sneakers, right? Anything I know about sneakers, I probably learned on the internet, so you could probably Google it, right? But when, like, I had a buddy of mine, his wife wanted to buy him a pair of shoes for Christmas, and she goes, what should I get? And I was like, well, he's talking about these, and these. She's like, I can't afford those. And so I helped her find a shoe, and that felt like really good to give that, right? But to your point, like, I mean, like she could have figured all that out.
Well, that's a little bit more detailed. I'm more talking about like a silly question, like a simple question,
Sure.
Like how long do I cook chicken? You know, something like that.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a teaspoon and a tablespoon?
Yeah, you know, and I guess what I was saying is that I always feel grateful when people ask me for specific stuff like that. But for the most part, you can find everything on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, you know, there's no reason to not know.
You have to remember too, like when you're doing like the health side of things and like all of that stuff, there's so much wrong information too.
Very fair.
So like I understand somebody asking me a million questions about nutrition because when you go Google it, you know what kind of BS pulls up on Google on that. Like get into ChatGPT and ask them a question and they're going to give you the agenda of our health and food instead of what actually is true.
Sure.
So those kind of things make sense, but it's like simple little questions like the tablespoon and teaspoon are like cooking the chicken. Like that reminded me, my sister did that to me once. I was just like, you could Google this. Like you could literally Google it. You don't even need to use AI. Like this is before like Google had AI popping up at the top. Like you can Google it. I Googled it to give you the answer.
You're like, I Googled it. That's funny.
Like, I don't remember how much this chicken needs to cook for. Here you go.
I mean, we just got, well, we've had it for a while. We have an air fryer. And like probably like daily, I go to ChatGPT and go, well, how long do you air fry this? Or whatever.
Yeah, it's just easier, right?
Yeah.
Like at least then I have the amount. I mean, I can do everything else. It's not like it's that big of a deal to throw some seasoning on. I just need to know how long to cook it so I don't have to think about it.
That's right.
I learned how to smoke meat with Google and YouTube and ChatGPT. Like,
see?
You know?
Yeah.
You can do anything. You just gotta like apply yourself and take action. Like you can't just read it.
Well, I think that you know, I had a client one time say, oh, I'm just not technically savvy. And I'm like, okay, that's fair, but like let you know that this is 2025 and the world is technically savvy. So on some level you are, but you're just like,
they're on Facebook.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. Like
yeah,
all
yeah.
those people that say they're not tech.
yeah, you're using technology, so don't tell me that you don't.
Yeah.
You just don't want to do it, or you don't want to put the energy and the effort, you know. And can I just say, there's great value in doing shit for free. Sorry, can I curse?
You're fine.
Okay, sorry. There's a lot of value in doing stuff for free, right? In the sense of like what you like I don't know about you. I do my podcast for free, right?
Yeah.
And I'm learning so much and I'm growing so much and stuff like that. And then that spreads to like other people, but like, you know, I have clients and people that like refuse to do things for free. And yeah, you should get paid for what you do, but also like there's some level of like gratification by just putting good energy and effort into something because you want to, because it means something to you and you're not going to get paid for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Like, there's so many people. There's 2 people, actually, that I work with that I have built workout plans, helped them with their nutrition. They're hitting their goals. They're working towards it. They've been going for probably good, like, 4 or 5 months now. And, like, literally losing weight and everything, I did 100% for free. Because I care.
Yeah.
It strengthens our team at work. Like, everyone's in better shape. Everyone's doing better. Like, everyone's pushing forward even more because I help them.
Well, I mean, in my world, I call that service, right? Like, so
Yeah.
how do you serve others in your world and around you? You know what I mean? Because like, you know, there's a famous quote by Muhammad Ali. It says, your rent, service to others is your rent paid here on earth, right? And so like, I always like try to keep that in mind, that I'm always trying to find a way to serve others, because like, it's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
And and that service of others just strengthens who I am and my family bond and all that kind of stuff. So it's just so important to just do something.
Not everything's about money.
Not every.
Now, you should get paid, obviously, for certain things, but
get paid for your job. Like,
Yeah.
get paid, but also like it's a kind of way of giving back. You know what I mean? Like, it's in a weird way, if you're religious, it'd be a way of like tithing, but you're just tithing to the universe. You know what I mean? And that's the way I look at it. I look at it as like, you know, back to the Google thing. If someone asks me something, I have an opportunity to serve them in some way, even if it's just like telling them how to cook chicken. If that's all they want.
It's just sometimes, you know, it depends on who the person is too, though, right? Like, on who asked. Like, it was my sister, so I was just like.
Well, I was gonna say, like, you are my brother in that scenario, because my brother's really smart, and I'll text him, I'll go whatever, and like as I'm texting him, I go, he's gonna tell me to Google it, and then he'll go Google it, and I'm like, I want your opinion. I don't want to Google. I know I can Google it. I want your opinion. So.
Oh, it's just funny.
Oh.
You got a thought.
I had something, and then it totally escaped my brain. Never mind. You go.
Never mind. So, have you always been a sneakerhead? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know much about it. Do you go to SneakerCon?
I have been to some sneaker conventions.
There's like a big one here every year.
There's one in Austin. There's a big one in Houston. I've gone to them before, but really like I started collecting sneakers as a kid, and just like kind of kept doing it. And then, you know, a lot of it boomed during the pandemic, where people, like, everybody was buying sneakers and it was like a big deal. But that I was already doing all that. Like, I was already being that person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but when we talk about like addiction, right? We talk about like being addicted to alcohol or drugs or whatever else it is, or cars.
You can be addicted to anything.
You could be more than likely you are addicted to something. You just maybe don't know what it is, right? Because I mean, there's a good chance you're addicted to your phone. Like, I mean, we all are on some level. So like, there's already that, right? And then there might be, I don't know, maybe you collect dolls or whatever else it is. But so this became kind of this addiction. And then, during the pandemic, nothing to do. I started buying kind of all these sneakers. And then before I know it, like, right now I probably have like 250 pairs of sneakers, but I probably had close to like 350 pairs of shoes. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I have a daughter.
What do you do with them? Do you just stack them?
Okay, so if you go into our bedroom, one full wall is just sneakers top to floor. Like, there's just like in those fancy like little shoe box, little drop down boxes. And then another wall is just all boxes of shoes, and that's not including the ones in my closet and that's not including the ones that like downstairs in my studio. I'm selling those, but like it's like they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Anyways, and so
What does your girlfriend think of all that?
you know, as long as we have a roof over her head and she has everything that she needs and wants,
She's chill.
She's chill. She actually knows it's my thing, so she doesn't get like, you know. And she's not that person. She's not that kind of person. She's not a material person. She's not into stuff like that. She's more into like, we have 3 pianos in my house. She's a musician. So we have 3 pianos. She has all these musical instruments. She wants stuff like that. You know, she wants to go places. She's more into experiences.
I can relate to that because he's into cars and
Right.
that's his thing. And I just kind of like sit back, let it happen, whatever, you know, and like, this is my thing, content. Let's just make some content, you know?
She'll comment on it and like she'll give them nicknames and things like that. But like she doesn't ever really care, and like, you know, and I try like to, I don't make it an issue for her. But like, so once I got to all the sneakers, I was like, this is I recognized in myself, I was like, this is a problem. And so like, I've spent like the last year just like shedding sneakers and trying to really bring more awareness around my spending habits and what I do. But like,
Are you just like, is it less impulsive to buy them now and you're just kind of like chilling out on it? Or is it just something you have to be mindful of?
well, I have to be real mindful of it because like, you know, I went to school, I graduated from school, I have a BA of Fine Arts and Graphic Design, so I was an artist. I was an artist at heart. I took a bunch of painting and all this jazz. And so like just, you know, I've always been into like fashion, culture, sneakers, like all that stuff's just always been,
It all kind of
it's just
blends,
all interesting
yeah.
to me, right? So when I when I look at a shoe, a lot of times I just see art. Like I just see, oh, it's so cool how they did this and they did this.
You look at like the details and the stitching.
I think it's
like,
all interesting, right?
Yeah.
So then I go, well, I need that one. Well, then look at that one. And then look at that one. Oh, that's cool. You know what I mean?
You probably have like 10 pairs that I think would look all the same.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, they're probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know I have 3 or 4 pairs that are almost exactly the same, right? They're just different year models of the same exact shoe, right?
Oh my god.
So like, you know, so like and realizing all this and like, I was just like, I've got to change this. I got to take care of this, bringing the awareness around it, you know, and just going, only collect the stuff that, you know, how you gonna wear 200 pairs of shoes, but only collect the stuff that you really want, that really means something to you. It has to mean something, you know, and like, don't just collect just to collect and stuff like that. If I was independently wealthy, that was something I could do, but like I'm not. And so, you know, I found this new way to collect and not feel like it's out of control, not feel like it's impacting my family, not in fact it's impacting me and our house with all the shoes and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And so, but that comes down to me sitting down, having awareness around myself and making that change. Like when we talk about losing weight, drinking, having a real conversation with myself, like this is like, you know, because I told myself a lot of time, oh, it's not a problem. And it's so great, I mean, just like an addict, it's not a problem.
It's that
I could
self-awareness behind it now.
I could stop collecting shoes whenever I want, you know, blah, blah, blah. But but it's not. And so I really had to handle it like a true addict, you know, which is why.
Because that's what it is.
It really
You're addicted to buying shoes. Like you are literally addicted to it.
It really is, you know what I mean? And so like if I'm not mindful of it, you know, and maybe it's something I grow out of one of these days. I don't know. But if I'm not mindful of it,
I'm going to say if you've been doing this since you were like,
it's going to be hard.
Yeah, I don't think you're growing out of it.
I'm hoping, this is what I'm hoping. I have this kind of bucket list of shoes that I want, right? These certain ones that I want. And I'm really hoping.
Like hard to find ones? Is that what they are?
Expensive, hard to find. And so I'm hoping once I hit this list that I'll kind of be done. Like these are all like my kind of grail, like these are the ones I kind of want to finish my collection, right? So I'm hoping that once that is, that I'll be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that, I don't know. My car guy downstairs seems to have a new list after he gets to a list, you know, so I don't know.
How many
they
cars?
Make new shoes.
How many cars has he had since y'all been together?
A lot. Over 200 cars probably. Yeah.
Like in and out, in and out?
Yeah, well, he used to flip them. He's had, he went through phases, you know. So.
How many has he got right now?
Right now he's only got 3.
What are they? Just out of curiosity. I don't even know if I know what they are, but.
We got the Raptor.
Okay, I know what that is.
And then we have an M3, a BMW M3, and then we have the BMW wagon.
Okay. So what is his all-time? Do you know his all-time dream car? The one
Oh, some kind of Porsche 911. I don't know. He's like he goes through phases though. Like when we lived in Colorado, it was all off roading and stuff like that, right? So we had lots of 4Runners, lots of different off roading vehicles, and like he flipped a lot of them. And then now it's into fast cars, and he wants to go to the track, and that's why we have the M3, and yeah, so it just evolves, and like there's new shoes all the time, so I'm just gonna say that's probably not gonna work.
Well, what I really got myself down to was like, I went back and I got a lot of the stuff that I had as a kid or wanted as a kid and stuff like that.
Oh, that's another phase he does too.
Right.
The cars that he wanted as a kid, those are on the list.
Right, and so yes, there'll always be coming out. There will always probably be something I'm interested in, but I'm hoping it slows down. I'm hoping. I mean, I'm sure it will.
I think it slows down because you get more picky on what you want, right? Like you've had a lot of the stuff. Now you want certain ones. So like your list, you want those specific ones.
Well, and the stuff I was selling for, like a lot of that money went back to like my daughter goes to a Montessori school. So that went back to like paying for her Montessori school, you know what I mean? So a lot of times when I like think about like buying a new shoe or I think about like I got to pay for Montessori school or whatever it is, it's like, well,
she wins.
Yeah, she wins, right? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, so like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't, maybe it does.
Like it's always going to be there. It's a part of you.
I mean,
yeah.
Clothes and shoes and stuff in general is just a part of me. Like, you know what I mean? It's just who I am.
It's part of the artistic stuff.
Well, also, like, my dad was a farmer and my mom was a teacher. And so, like, you know how teachers are, like, they always have, like, the sweaters and the
It's not fashionable.
but my mom was about the sweaters. My mom was about the fashion of being, dressing up nice. And my mom was like, and she took us shopping with her all the time. So I'm sure that's where all that like kind of.
We got it from her a little
bit. Yeah. My brother, my dad's a farmer, and so my brother spent a lot of time on the farm as a kid because when I was little, apparently my dad was scared that like something would happen to us, like when you're a new parent.
Yeah. But
then nothing happened to me, and he was like, "Oh, the little will be fine." So he took my brother all the time. So my brother got way into being on the farm, and I got way into like clothes and fashion. So
you kind of miss out as an older child, like they're a little more cautious.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy. So my daughter is the first girl. Like so, like my brother I have a nephew, but it was all boys, right? And so my dad is just like he just follows her around like everywhere. He's like, hey, she's gonna get. I'm like, she's fine. Like she's just like every other kid, except she's a girl and they're boys, right? They're the same. But he's so worried about her all the time, and it's so crazy to watch because I've just never seen him like that. But it must have been similar to how he felt about me when I was
right.
little,
It's something you experienced but didn't see.
Yeah, and now I'm seeing him. He'll come to me. He goes, hey, you need to go get her. I'm like, she's fine. Fine, he's always.
She can hang with the boys.
Yeah, no, she totally can hang. That's what I love about her is that she's totally a girl, but she can totally hang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's good.
That's it. It's so funny. I like how that works. My husband was the oldest too, and he talked about how his mom wouldn't let him have like any toy guns and stuff. You know what I mean? Like all that stuff was just like so bad, right? Or being in martial arts, that's bad. And then like it's like a totally different world. So he has like a younger brother that I don't know, he's like probably 10 or 11 now, and like he's 35, so like it's a big gap. And it's like a totally different life.
Oh yeah. Like all my friends had their kids in their 20s, right? And I didn't have my daughter until I turned 44. And so like even like my life when I was married before I got divorced, like I feel like, I was an okay person, but I definitely, did not have my shit together. And if that person would have been raising my daughter, it would have been disaster.
Totally different. And
so like, I'm so grateful that it happened at this time because I'm so much different. And it's probably a lot of what, your husband's, experiencing is like his parents are just different, right? Like you've gotten older, you're just different, you're a different person.
Well, and I think you're more relaxed. In some things, in some ways, it's not worth the fight. You know what I mean?
You've had a lot of stuff happen too, and you realize you haven't died.
Well, and I'm sure it's different too, having kids at different times, like versus what time you're a parent, and then what time like you've had children, and now you have a child again. You know what I mean? Like it's like kind of a different.
I can't even imagine like that gap.
Yeah.
And what it must be like for his parents. Like you know what I mean? Like it's wild. It's wild.
Well, it's a different dad.
Sure,
so.
But still, I mean, like, you know.
And then, like, he also has 2 half siblings, like, in the middle.
Oh, really?
Too, yeah. So, yeah, it's a big gap. I don't know how she does it.
I just know that I feel like that I'm a really good parent now, better than I would have been before, but I'm a lot more tired than I probably would have been in my 20s.
You don't, like, have the energy being older, but at the same time, you have the more wisdom.
Well, I just, like, I can just, like, instead of, like, getting stuff done, she doesn't nap anymore, but instead of getting stuff done, why she napped, I would just nap with her. You know what I mean? I was like, when are we going down for this nap? I'm tired. You know,
I mean, it works, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, she's
all levels out.
Oh yeah, I mean, and she's wonderful now, and like she's amazing. She really is, like, really awesome. I'm very grateful.
Are you gonna have any more kids? No, that was it.
Well, this pregnancy was really hard on my girlfriend, and
Okay.
she's already, let's see, I'm gonna be 50, so she's 44, so it was already bad and risky, so I could only get worse and risky. And she honestly, she was like, she had to have an emergency C-section. So she's like, I don't want to go through that again.
Yeah.
It was scary too, because like they had to have the emergency C-section because something had happened, and like I'd gone down to get a drink, come back up, and the doctor's like, you gotta come with me. And like we're running down the hallway, and like they're doing the C-section, and then they had to put my daughter in the NICU for like 2 days.
Oh no.
Crazy. And it was during COVID. We had to live in the hospital.
Oh, I didn't even think of the timing. Yeah.
We lived in the hospital for a week. We were there for a week.
And you can't have any family or
No
anything
family.
during that time.
And they were like delivering food to the front door, and like, I mean, it was,
no.
my girlfriend was ready to kill me at the end of that week, you know, because she just had a baby, all this stuff's going on, and like, you know, and we're just stuck in this room together for our entire week. It was crazy because they didn't want to let me leave because
Then
they
you
didn't want you to go back. Yeah, they exposed you, come back and forth.
And then you gotta get tested.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. I haven't even.
And that's even in like a conservative state during that time too, so it was probably a little better than some other places.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like they let me go home, and like, because we didn't plan on, we thought we were just gonna be there for a couple of days, right? But then when she had the emergency C-section, they had to keep her and then keep my daughter, so then it became a week, right? And so like I was like, we don't have any clothes. Like, can I go home? Like, I had to go home and get some clothes. We had animals and all that kind of stuff. Like, and so like they finally let me go home. I could go home for a couple hours, come back. It was wild. It was a wild time.
Yeah, that would make you not want to do it again.
Well, and like, you know, you hear other people's experiences where like they go to the hospital and they go home like, you know, 2 days later or whatever, and then ours was, I've never had a baby before, right? We've never done this, and we'll never do it again. That's the only experience of wild, just wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I can't even, like, I always think about like one of these days, like I'm going to be explaining that to my daughter, what that time was, like this thing in time where there was this pandemic and you were born during it. I mean, that's nuts to think that she was born during it, like in what was going on in the world and stuff. You know, like people that were maybe born during World War II or whatever. She was born during this like time. You know what I mean?
Weird time.
Weird time. It's wild.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine dealing with like anything with the hospitals at that time.
It was rough, and I'm not vaccinated, so it was even worse.
Oh, did they fight you on that?
Oh, it just wasn't good. You know, I mean, I had to kind of like I guess I can say, I'm not going to say this now, but like at the time, because I didn't get vaccinated, there was a time period in which people were not happy about that. Right?
Oh, I'm not vaccinated either. Like,
yeah. So there was a time period where that was not okay. And I had to really stand my ground with a lot of people, including like family members and stuff like that I'm not going to do it. And I'm glad I did. And at the same time, like, it just kind of sucked. You know what I mean?
Well, like, it was even worse was the mask thing when you fought back against that, because I refused to wear a mask. I went full, like, opposite. I was fighting it, and I still stand to this day that I did the right thing. And I don't go to restaurants that tried to make me put on a restaurant. To this day, 5 years later, I will not go to a restaurant.
Do they still have restaurants that you wear masks in?
No. I won't go to the ones that try to make me wear one.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
Because, one, it was stupid. It was just stupid. It was like, you want me to put it on to sit over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, no, not playing your game.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we fought back. And that was, I would say that was where you got really hated on. Because you'd be in public, I'd be in the grocery store, and like somebody'd be all mad and try to start stuff. Or I had a guy yell at a girl that worked there because I didn't have a mask on.
Dang.
Instead of confronting me. So then, of course, I had to say something. But, like, it was just like, if you're that scared, don't go out in public.
Yeah.
I have the choice to do whatever the hell I want with my body, and I'm going to do that.
One of my clients, she was very, very much the same way, and even though we're in Texas, they were very hard about the mask thing.
It was just everywhere.
Yeah. So she had this mask, and I swear to God, it was just like pantyhose. Like it was just like you could see her face through it. And like,
yeah, the mesh ones.
It was
because
like
you can breathe through them.
Well, no, but it was like she just made it like she made this thing just to satisfy going to the store, And they would say, of course, they would say something to her, and she'd be like, "It's a mask. It's a mask.
My face is covered.
My face is covered. It's a mask."
I wouldn't even do that.
Yeah.
I'd be on an airplane and I'd have it like below my chin and just literally I would eat my
the whole
little
time.
snack the entire time just to not put it on.
I think the best one I ever saw, there was like something where somebody had a mask, and like it would open like
oh
like
yeah,
and and they would put food, and I was just like, that's wild. Like
where you get the ones with like the holes literally in it.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Yeah, it was such a weird time though. But yeah, I didn't really, cause we're not super close to family anyway, so it's not like if they had difference of opinion, I don't even know, to be honest. And like, so it was just mainly going out in public and stuff. But like, I don't know, I just guess I don't care enough what people think or say that like it didn't bother me to be shamed in public. It was messed up that they did that.
I didn't go out in public a lot during that time. I did my own thing. I was too busy. I just had a baby.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have time to do all that stuff.
Well, and it was a weird time too. Like you don't want to take a baby out in public when
all that's going on as well, right? And so, but like I fought really hard to make sure that my daughter didn't get vaccinated either, and that was a problem. You know what I mean?
Were you and your girlfriend on the same page with that?
So my girlfriend actually got like one of the first.
She got the first one
shot. I don't know what it.
I don't know what the difference is.
Yeah, so she got the first shot of whatever, right?
Yeah.
And when she did that, I was like, look, I'm cool with you doing it, whatever you want to do. Like, I'll support you in whatever you, because during that time, right?
Yeah.
I'll support you in whatever you do. But there is nothing to show that she needs this or that it would do any good, and it might actually be a problem. So like, I just asked, can we? And she agreed, which like was awesome, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, that was my real big fight, was just for like my daughter. Like, I just didn't want, because like, fuck me if screw me if like I get vaccinated and I'm an adult, I can handle stuff. But like, she doesn't have a voice. And I wanted to make sure that she had a voice about what's important, for the future of her. You know what I mean? When she couldn't speak for herself. So.
Well, and especially because everything was just so unknown. Like we're just putting this stuff into kids, and you don't even know anything about it.
Well, I mean, everything else is so tested so well.
Yeah.
And at that time, I don't know now, but like at that time, I just didn't feel like, for me personally, with the information I got, didn't feel like it was enough tests. It didn't feel like it was gonna really matter to her. It didn't feel like she was a person that was going to get infected with it. So, I mean, that was going to be impacted that way. So I was like, there's no reason, right?
I think too, like calling it a vaccine is where they screwed up anyways, because it's not a vaccine. If you have to get it again, it's not a vaccine.
Sure,
it's just like the flu shot.
Right.
Right?
Right.
A vaccine is something that you get to stop from something happening, but you don't get it frequently, right? Like it's like the measles vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
You get it as a kid and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they kept calling it a vaccine and then saying you have to get boosters and stuff, and like that to me was a trigger of like, well, you should question it just because of that.
Well,
I don't know. It's just a weird situation.
I think that I think that if we had to do that all over again, like if that happened all over again, I think it would be different.
Oh, it would. I know many people that got it that regretted it.
Mm-hmm. I think even if we went through some sort of like major event in which the government was very highly involved in what was going on, stuff like that,
it's gonna happen again.
There's gonna be a lot. I would hope there would be a lot more questioning. A lot more people would question, right? A lot more people would stand up and go like, "Is this okay?" and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I hope, but
I would hope more people would just stand up in general, because there was enough people that didn't believe in stuff that did it anyways, just to please other people.
I had a client that like he basically couldn't. He worked for Dell. He couldn't go back to work unless he got vaccinated.
They did that to a lot of people,
Yeah.
and that was messed up.
It really, because he in particular wishes he didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I know that there's so many people I know that got vaccinated only because they needed to work.
And that's just kind of messed up. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
very, very, very. I was very lucky at the time. Me and my husband both worked at an off-road shop in Colorado. With the whole COVID thing is the reason we left Colorado.
Really?
It's way too Yeah. Um, but like, yeah, we worked at an off-road shop, and luckily the people that owned it and the people that worked there, nobody believed in this stuff anyways, and like we were just like, whatever. We all seen everything come in from start to finish. I mean, the owner basically called everything that happened out. And so like we just continue to work during the time, because you could say you're essential if it was an auto
Sure.
spot, right? Even though technically what we did was not essential. And then we would just lock the front door and just not wear a mask. You know what I mean? Like it was stuff like that. Like, but I got really lucky because I didn't have to. But I would have quit. We would have figured it out. That's where we were at with things. And then when we moved here, I worked remote. I didn't even get an in-person job.
I think that I was thinking about traveling at one point, and they were like, you know, you have to get it to travel, and I was like, I don't.
It was out of the country, right?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna do that, right? And so one of my friends, he's also like crazy like that, where he's not gonna get vaccinated, do all this stuff, and he travels a lot. I said, what did you do? I said, what are you doing? And he goes, I don't want to say his name, and I don't want.
Yeah.
He goes, I got this nurse to write me a fake thing, right? And I go, okay. I go, because I'm considering it, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, and I go, how much is that? And he's like, $1,000. And I was like, I'll just stay home for another 6 months. I'll just save my money for it. I'll hope that like maybe you won't need it. And like turns out you didn't. You know what I mean? Turns
right.
Over time, like you just
eventually it just goes away.
It goes away.
Yeah. Like it almost doesn't even exist. You see it with the flu shots now.
The sickest I've ever been in my entire life, I think. My daughter started school, and within a month and a half, she got, was it RSV, like the respiratory infection, right? Me and her down for 21 days. I was almost like in bed. 21 days. Was weak, sick, everything. And I was like, this is way worse than any batch of COVID I had. And maybe it was COVID, but both me and her just sick. And I was like, ain't got no vaccine for this.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like the thing about the idea of the vaccine for it was literally that you got it and then you get immune to it. So why not just get it when you get it and get immune to it?
Well, I got it. Check this out. So my daughter was born in September, right? And the whole thing started in March. In August of that, was that 20, right? Yeah. August of 20, I got COVID, right? And that's at the time where like, you're an a-hole if you get COVID. You're jeopardizing the world. And remember that whole thing, right? So like, I don't get vaccinated. I start to feel sick. I go to one of those like walk-in clinics. The guy comes back. He goes, hey, you got COVID. And like, I just started like crying because my girlfriend is pregnant. Now, and remember the mindset at the time, right?
Yeah, it's a weird time.
It's a weird time. So my girlfriend's pregnant and she's at home with her child. My girlfriend had to leave for 2.5 weeks. It was 3 weeks, and stay with her sister until I was better, right? And then I couldn't get a cleared COVID test. So like, you know, it was like 7 days or whatever it was, right? I'd go, still popping up, because I needed to work and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was just at home by myself, no one to talk to, no one could come by. People that came by are like standing out in my yard. And like, once I went through all that, and then they were like, you need to get vaccinated. I was like, you can go stick it, right? Because like, I was like, I just went through all this stuff. Like, I mean, like, what are you talking about, right? And so
well, immunity to like anything was just like all of a sudden it didn't exist to people.
Yeah, and like I was like, this has no like value, you know, that I just went through, 3 weeks, couldn't get, a negative test. So anyway, so that kind of made me like really kind of dig in a little bit and go, man, I don't really think I want to get vaccinated, but again, it was the thought process, a different time, how I felt about it, all that stuff's way different now, you know what I mean? It's weird that, you talk about like, I don't know, like how messy that was at that time. And then when it all settles out, it's like, oh, there was only certain parts of this that we really should be concerned about,
Yeah, and like the whole idea behind it started with, it was just anybody who had respiratory issues. Because that was where you were really at risk of dying. Right. Other than that, you were just sick. You were just down for the count, which is still true to this day, right? Yeah. Like that's exactly what it was. But then they escalated it into this bigger thing. Like it was just going to kill you if you don't get vaccinated. Yeah. Like it was just amazing how we went from this like normal idea of what COVID was to this extreme idea.
Well, I think, I do stuff online. I have stuff online. I'm online, but I try to like really monitor my online stuff.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times when we spend a lot of time online, you spend a lot of time scrolling. Not only do you lose reality of your friends and stuff like that because you're not interacting with real people and having real conversations, but just what you take in starts to see like, oh, well, this is what it is. These are your new facts, right? These are your new, because you're not talking to your friends, you're not talking to other people, you're just looking at this, and it's also feeding you what it wants to feed you and the things it wants you to know. And so a lot of times I feel like that you can really tell when someone's kind of buying into a certain narrative or a certain thing because they probably spend a lot of time online. And it doesn't have to be something as controversial as COVID. It could be something. It could be something totally different. But it's like a rhetoric you kind of hear, and it's like, wow, like, one, you shouldn't spend probably so much time online, but two, where are your original thoughts off of that concept? Where are your original thoughts
doing your own research?
YouTube University, like where is you, instead of just being like force fed, where is you reinvesting into it and finding out about everything? You know what I mean? Like a lot of what we talked about today is about like bringing awareness to yourself, taking care of your own shit. Like what are you doing to make that happen?
We have so many people that get riled up over fake news on social media. Isn't it like something when you see somebody share like a fake CNN thing?
Well, I just, if I talk about this sometimes like on my social media. It's cool, like you want to post stuff or whatever, but like if you post something and you just know it's a fact, I got a problem. I mean, like, there's just no way to know. So, like, everything you post, like, you have to be able to go with a grain of salt. I don't know if this is real. And so I don't post very much, I don't repost very much stuff because I don't know what's real and what's not, Really, the only thing I know is real is my stuff. Like, you know what I mean? The stuff I'm posting.
Right.
I know that stuff's real. Other than that, I really don't know,
Well, and like, I'll see something and I'll be like, is this even true? You know what I mean? Like, I think about it, like, because there's so much fake news out there. You'll see like a headline that's just there to trigger you, and then you read it and you're like, well, that doesn't sound right.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think a lot of people take that like next step, because a lot of times we just like, we're totally happy just being fed what we're fed instead of like, like on my personal social media, I try to follow like a lot of different things so that it just kind of spreads it wide and I see everything, you know what I mean? So I'm not just seeing like one thing. I'm trying, but like even then, it's pushing everything to me that it wants to push.
Oh, it's gonna anyways. I mean, think about it just from being a male and having a social media. What does it push?
So okay, so I told one of my clients this. You know how like when you go to like Instagram, it has like the search page. Like if you go to a guy's Instagram, it'll be like I'm just being silly, but mine's like this. It's like a sneakers, tattoos, and boobs.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. My husband's is cars and boobs.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so like it's even if you're not trying, it's just like, do you like boobs? What
I know you like boobs. Here's boobs.
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's just it's crazy. And so I'm sure for girls, it's like something in a similar way, right? It's like whatever you're into, and
food is what pops up on mine, and I don't even like search for food or anything. It's just food. I don't know why.
Are you into food? Are you a foodie?
I mean, we are, but not to the extent of social media. I don't even really scroll. I'm the type of person that I post so much that like I maybe have an hour total all week that I actually scroll. And if I'm scrolling,
you don't have time to scroll.
I don't have time. And because I work 40 hours and then I do all this stuff, I also post 18 to 20 videos a day.
Dang.
On top of the podcast ones that get posted daily, which is like probably between 4 and 6 videos a day. So I have all this content going on. I don't have time to like scroll, but when I scroll, I'm just looking for funny videos. If you got a dog doing something stupid, like that's my kind of video.
When I scroll, like, so I'm probably even worse than you. Like, I post and ghost, but then when I am scrolling, I'm basically scrolling just to like my friends' stuff. Like, just to, like, support them, right? You know what I mean?
I do that sometimes, just, like...
Scroll.
TikTok has, like, the friends, like, tab. I'll click on it, scroll, like, 10 of them, like them. Okay, done. I did my deed for the day.
Yeah, and because I know, like, as someone that's making something, I would love if people support me.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the best way to do that? Support them, and hopefully... And it does. Like, when you support others, they support you, serving others.
I try. It's just, I'm just too busy to scroll sometimes.
Well, it's just like doom. One of my clients calls it doom scrolling. Like when doom scrolling. It's just constant intake. There's no output. Someone way smarter than me was like, if you're always, we are creative creatures. We're creative beings, right? We were put in this like giant earth to create things like buildings and whatever else.
It's what we do.
Oh, it's what we do, right? And if you're constantly consuming, and you never have any kind of output of anything, then what do you, there's nowhere for that to go. You're just consuming. And like, I look at social media kind of like junk food, right? It's like the junk food for your brain, right?
You're right.
So like, if you're going to eat a Snickers, just like eat a mini one. Like if you're going to doom scroll a little bit, you know what I mean?
Limit yourself.
Limit yourself, right? And like, to people like you probably keep a good diet, but you're the same thing with you're keeping a good diet with your social media as well. You're like, hey, I don't doom scroll. I'll do a little bit, like my friends, post my shit, I'm out,
Yeah, I'd rather just post and just not go on there. Like, I mean, I think I post so much that like I'm sick of looking at the app that I don't even want to open it.
I post like a third of what you said, and like when you said that, I was like 18 posts. Wow. I was like, I barely get like 3 in a day, and I don't even get on social media. You know what I mean? I kind of post my stuff for the podcast and I'm out. So
I think it said I did. Oh man, last week 70 just on TikTok shop videos. So like products and stuff. 73 videos just on that last week.
That's crazy.
Not including the other, 7 to 10 videos.
You want to do a quick advertisement for your TikTok shop and explain to me what it is? I don't know what TikTok
so,
shop is.
like, it's just what TikTok shop affiliates are is basically they they have the store, right? Like they have, it's kind of like an Amazon.
Okay.
There's all kinds of sellers on there and products and stuff, and you can make videos talking about the products, and then you basically you add the product to the video, and then if people click on the product from your video and buy it, you make commission.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not making a lot from it, but like,
that
whole pile over there, except for the books, is all free stuff. So
you should see my Facebook checks that I get. They're like $2.38.
Oh yeah, I get some of those. I got one for like one of my videos went viral, and I got like $40 last
Nice.
month. So I was pretty happy about it. It was a really stupid video too. So this is the best part. Is like I just don't care. I just post it. Like I don't put a lot of effort. I just record, edit, post. And so 9 times out of 10, I don't delete something. I just do it. And this video was just me in an athletic dress with heels, and I was going to a networking event, and I had my Apple Watch on, okay, because I love this freaking thing. I don't care if I'm dressed nice or not. Other than going to like a gala or something, I'm not taking this off. I went to a wedding, I took it off, and I felt naked, and and my other watch didn't fit me anymore. So, but anyways, so I wear this for everything. So the joke was between like me and my husband joke all the time because he makes fun of me because I wear this with everything. And so like the joke was that I'm wearing an Apple Watch with a nice outfit, and it wasn't even that nice of an outfit because it was an athletic dress, but I don't care, it looked nice. And but anyways, that was the joke. And this it was literally just me like in the video and then words over top with some music, and it just took off. And it was a lot of like, there was a little bit of hate on there in the comments and stuff, like people like, oh, she thinks she's flexing an Apple Watch, when really it was a joke. And just stuff like that, which I love hate comments. I don't know if you do, but I love hate comments because hate fuels hate, which pushes your post.
I'm not popular enough to get hate comments yet. I'm waiting for the day. I had one guy tell me that I don't know how to talk, but that's about as bad as it's gotten. I haven't had a lot of hate comments.
I've had so many different ones, and I'm just like, whatever.
I also think you tell me. Do you think that women they're more susceptible to hate?
Yes.
Comment. I
think so.
I don't look a lot at comments like that, but like I would think that like people would just.
It's just easier, I think.
I had an ex-girlfriend that was like heavily tattooed like me. And she was standing in line at a Starbucks, and some guy told her, he was like, what did he say? He said, he goes, I can't believe you did that. Like, no one's going to want to marry you. And I was like, who says things like this, right? And that was in real life.
Why do you think your opinion is everybody else's anyways?
Well, I mean, we're not together, and I would have married her, though. She's a great person, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, like, it's the fact that somebody had the balls to like say that to somebody in person. I can only imagine what they say in online comments. Like, you know what I mean?
I had one that went real viral a few years ago on TikTok, and it was just like a voiceover, right? It was just something about like, well, if you can't afford this, then you got, or I'm out of your price range, or something stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been married. I've been with my husband for like 12 years. Like, we've been together forever. Like, it was just like a stupid video, right? Like, and he knows that. Like, I just posted it, and it triggered the heck out of some men. And it was all, troll men, like
Right.
ones that are ready to like put their comments in there. And like, there were so many comments saying, oh, no one's ever gonna marry her, like she's trash, blah blah blah, like all these just nasty comments. I mean, there were some of them I was just like, I just laughed my ass off, because like they especially like when you're talking about like never getting married, and I'm literally happily married.
Yeah.
Like, it's
My my ex, this is totally tangential, but my ex-wife, before she left, one of the last things she said to me, she's like, I was 42 at the time. She said, "You're 42 years old and no one's gonna want to be with you." And then now I have a baby, so I guess somebody wanted to be with me.
It's amazing. And like, the problem I think a lot of people have is you're a little sensitive to these comments when you shouldn't be, because honestly, not everyone's gonna like you.
No,
That's-
no, and like, I mean, like, to be honest, like, in the moment, because at the time I was married and she was my wife and we were involved, it was I was like, she's right.
That's
Like,
and that's even worse too, because she knows you.
Yeah.
There's a different relationship there, but when it's people you don't know.
But then, once I grew as a person out of that kind of experience of getting divorced and everything that happened, like, now it's like, it's laughable, right? Even if I didn't have my girlfriend, even if I didn't have my daughter, I wouldn't feel that way. I wouldn't feel like that no one wants me. I would feel like that, like, I mean, she missed out, to be honest, you know what I mean?
But there's a difference when you build confidence in yourself. When you work through stuff, you better yourself, you have a different kind of confidence. You've built the discipline to show yourself that you can show up in any situation. You know where you stand with yourself. So that confidence that you've built doesn't reflect on anybody else. You don't need validation from other people, because you know who you are, and the people that know who you are and love you are going to be there regardless, and the ones that don't, you're just like, whatever.
Yeah, like, I was in my life, I've been very much like a people pleaser. You know what I mean? Like,
I was like that for a long time.
I think that's a good thing. Like, when we talk about like, service to others, like, like, I want people to be happy, but I had to like get the difference between service to others and being good to others and people pleasing and what that looks like. And once I kind of got a better balance of that, to your point, like, some people fall off because they want you to please them. And some people stay because they're like, some of my friends were like, well, you don't seem any different to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those people probably had a different relationship with me than the people that fell off. The people that fell off were probably the people that were, for lack of a better word, like using me, my people pleasing to service them. And when I stopped doing it, they were like, well, I had no need for you. And that sucked, you know what I mean? Because you lose people out of your life like that.
When it kind of hurts a little bit, right? Especially if you don't realize that that's what they're doing until that happens.
Well, so what I found out inside my divorce was that my ex-wife and my best friend were the exact same people. They were in my life. They had the same role, right?
Oh.
So when I lost my ex-wife, I also lost my best friend at the same time, right? And that was really tough. You know what I mean? Because you go, okay, so I'm losing my wife. I'll just go to my best friend for like support, and then he's gone, and I'm like, oh.
And you're like, wait a minute, I don't have anyone.
Yeah, I don't have anyone. But like, I think that's what I needed, right? You know what I mean? It's weird, the blessings and the gifts and the way they come. But at that moment, even though it was nothing that I wanted, it was everything that I needed. And retrospectively, I can look at that, and that made me a stronger person and better. And then, it made me live more moment to moment and not to get overwhelmed and stuff like that, because I made it through this event, another event. And I think that sometimes, when something challenging comes along, we just kind of go, we just stop, or, like imposter syndrome, quit, whatever. And those, again, the challenging events, working through the podcast, figuring it out, it just makes you go, well, God, like, if I can figure out this scenario, I can figure out this scenario. And if I can figure out this scenario, I can probably figure out this scenario. Like, you build a strengthening a muscle of just like failing, being messy. Like, you start to flex that muscle, and it becomes way more powerful than the end result, I think.
I think some of the best things you can do is try something that scares the hell out of you.
Yeah. I've always, when I was a kid, if you'd asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. That's all I wanted to do. And I've had a comedy coach before, but in this last couple of months, I reached out to him and I was like, hey, are you still teaching comedy? And he was like, yeah. And I said, you still doing classes? He, yeah. He lives 4 minutes from my house. And so I was like, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? And I remember when I did stand-up before, I did a couple shows and it's just nerve-wracking. I mean, like, the audience and the people and like the whole thing, right?
Well, jokes are so subjective to the
Sure.
audience.
But through the process of my growth, what I realized is like if I were to go on stage and like tell a joke and it's not funny, that doesn't mean it's not funny. It's just not funny that moment, that day. You know what I mean? It's that audience.
Well, and it's a presentation thing too. Like some comedians work on a joke for a long period of time before they nail it.
Right. And so, that process of, I don't know if there is anything else that you fail so much at, like in front of other people to get better, right? Like other than being like maybe a musician or like a performer.
I think even comedy's worse.
Well, because you're by yourself.
You have nothing. It's just
you don't even have an instrument, maybe.
There's no music. There's nothing.
There's nothing. And so, like I did it, but it didn't feel like I could do it. And like now and re-engaging it and writing material and stuff like that, I'm like, if I fail, who cares?
So do you still do it?
Yeah, well, so I just, there's a whole other thing that I'm kind of working on, but I just reconnected with him. I just went to my first set of classes and I just started writing material. And so I'm just going to go back and at the first of the year, I'm just going to take all the material I wrote and just go do open mics as many as I can. Just doing as many as I can. And maybe it gets like too heavy and too much, and maybe I give it a little bit of a break or something. But like I really feel like that it's different than it was before. Just because, like you said, like when you're not confident, if you haven't failed and persevered and you haven't built that confidence and flexed those muscles, then you just don't have anything that's going to tell you that you can do that.
Yeah.
And when you do other things that you suck at and you fail at and then you succeed and do all that stuff, you go, oh, okay, well, I can do things. Maybe I'm not great at them. And maybe there's a point where I go, well, I can't play the piano, but maybe not. Maybe I can do stand-up. So we're gonna find out for sure.
So you're just kind of getting back into it?
Yeah, it's just like, it's more of something I just wanted to do for fun. And there's just kind of part of me that's like, it's undone. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like when I did it the first time, it was at a coffee shop, and it's not like it's nothing big, and like it was a lot of people that we knew, and my jokes weren't very funny, and I hadn't worked on it very long. And I really want to put a concerted effort into it. And if I get that far and I'm just like I'm not interested, then I'll just let it go.
Yeah.
But like I really think I don't know, back to okay, well I don't drink anymore, right? So what do I do with my Saturday nights? My daughter goes to bed at like 9 o'clock, and then you just kind of like hang out with your spouse. And I was like, well, maybe some of these nights I could go, I could go do stand up and and put that energy somewhere else. Like put it into something other than like binging something or being on my phone. Put it in another place I could just put energy into.
Oh, I get it. I keep my schedule pretty full. When it comes to like the comedy stuff, you got a bit? You got a bit you can do?
Well, I could, but okay. So
yeah, you got a big comedy fan over here.
I'm working on. I'm working on this character is what I'm working on.
Okay.
And it's this small town football coach, and he kind of goes on stage and he kind of doesn't know why he doesn't know why he's here, but he just has stuff to vent about. And one of the things that I vent about is that my girlfriend washes our plastic silverware, and I'm like, we have washable silverware. It's called silverware. We don't want to wash the plastic cutlery, and so there's a whole joke just built off. Like it's like would a monkey like eat a banana and then wash the peel and like save it? No, you know what I mean? Like, where else do we do this? And and it drives me insane. It drives me insane that there's plastic cutlery in our sink when we have like, and I'm always like, why did you save this? She's like, we can use it again. I go, but we have that already. It's called silverware. Like, why?
That is a funny thing,
actually. And so there's a whole bit on it that I've been working on, stuff like that, and I had to do this football coach with it. Yeah, so. It's
funny how things come back around, right? Like you did this before, and now you're back to it, and like I feel like life sometimes pulls you and you don't even realize it to the thing you're supposed to be doing. And I don't know if it's necessarily what you're supposed to be doing, but like I've had that happen with me with personal training and like it started with personal training, right, and turned into health and fitness coaching, and now it's evolved to where I try to help busy individuals like myself where you have no time fit health and fitness in.
Right.
And that's kind of like where it ended up. But like I've stopped and started, got discouraged because people don't do the things they tell you you're going to do. So then I stop and then I start. And like it just, somehow I just keep getting suctioned back to it. And I feel like life does that in funny ways.
I think, you know, in this particular subject, it really, it felt like it was something that was undone. And I wasn't really looking for it. But the more like self-exploration I did about myself, and the more I like worked on myself, the more like, you know, like, well, who are you really and what are you really into? Like, well, I'm really into sneakers. Like, I really like sneakers, right? And so like, who am I? And I'm someone that likes comedy, and I'm someone that likes making people laugh, and I'm someone that had this goal a long time ago to do this, and I didn't do it because of these reasons, but those reasons aren't there anymore. So like, what's kind of stopping you, right? And I feel like not only is it like great for me, but again, like I'm lucky that I have this little person that I'm trying to set this really great example for. So if she sees me trying things and failing, if she sees me, you know, being messy or whatever I'm doing to get to the places, then she understands like that's part of the work and that's how I do it. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't know. It just,
she can say that her dad's a TV star and a comedian. How about that?
well, I always go like, I go, how do I word it? I say, do you think you have a good daddy or whatever? She goes, I have the best daddy. And I'm like, great. You know, she doesn't know any better, you know? So, but yeah, I really, you know, my parents, when I told them I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, or if I told them I want to do something crazy like that, they were like, you got to get a real job. You know what I mean? And so then...
Yeah, you never thought, like, it's weird when you grow up in that kind of environment. I did too, where they don't think out of the box. They think everything's, like, so far-fetched. Like, California is just insane.
My mom's a teacher. My dad's a farmer. Like, these are just, you know...
Mine worked in factories.
Regular jobs, right?
Yeah.
And so there's no... I didn't know a comedian growing up. My parents didn't know a comedian growing up. You're like, you know... And so... Whenever I got into the job of like personal training, you know, me and my parents had to have like a come to Jesus talk about like what I'm doing with my life and stuff like that. And I don't want, not that my mom and dad did anything wrong. They were totally protecting me. Like, you know, they were totally being good parents. I just want her to know that she can do anything she wants to, but if you want to do these out of the box things, they require a lot more work than the in-the-box things. The in-the-box things, most of the work's done for you. Go to school, show up, become a lawyer. Go to school, show up, become a doctor. If you want to be a musician, you're gonna have to work a lot for free. You have to practice a lot on your own. You have to do shows, you have to do this. You're gonna have to put a lot of work in that might not show up right in the very beginning, but in the long run, it'll be worth it. I just want you to know that that's an option.
And it's a possibility.
It's a possibility.
Just it's out there.
Yeah, because it wasn't a possibility for me, you know? I mean, it
was.
was,
but you didn't see that because of the environment that you were in. Like,
well,
it's
again,
just so, it's such a shallow, like, I call it this, like, endless, like, pit that, like, just kind of, it's sinkhole that everyone's just kind of in and they can't see outside of it. Like, that's where I'm from.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and again, like, I don't think my parents were doing anything wrong, and I think they wanted the best for me, and so that's why they did that, right? But like, the world's also different than, I mean, you know, I was born in 1976. The world's different than it was in 1994.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's YouTube. Like, you know what I mean?
It's completely different.
It's completely different. So, you know, the possibility of her doing that or whatever, there's more artists in general, doing art in general, being creative in general has a space now to display your art and show what you do and things like that. We didn't have that in 1994.
Oh, social media has changed everything.
Right. And in that particular, it's fantastic, right? There's always real great parts about social media. I'm just not crazy about the not great parts. And the unfortunate part
But isn't everything like that, right?
Yeah. And you building that awareness around for it in your life is what decides what's good and bad, right? You know what I mean? Like, And so, me having one drink on a Saturday isn't a problem for me. For somebody else, it could be a total.
It could end their life.
It could be the beginning of the downfall.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, and it all varies person to person. I think a big thing people need to see more is that we have more choices than we even realize.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people miss that. A lot of people miss that they have a choice in everything they do. Not every situation that happens. Sometimes, someone passing away is a good example. Like, you can't stop that from happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you can make choices to deal with it a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, and most things in your life, like, there's been some crappy situations I've been in, and I can look at it and I'm like, I put myself in that position.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you can see that, you realize that you have more choices than you think, and you can start making better ones.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing too. I think a lot of times, to your point, like if people are so deep in the hole, they don't believe there's any choices.
Yeah, they're just stuck.
It's just it. This is what it is, right?
Yep.
And like it's not like that. I mean, it can be like you could be in a situation that you don't have very many choices.
You can be.
But one of my favorite books is called Man's Search for Meaning.
Uh-huh.
It's by Viktor Frankl. He's a famous guy. Anyways, and it's his account of being in the Holocaust. And basically in the book, he was like, the one choice you always have is how you show up in your mind, like how you think. You have that choice always, no matter how bad it is. And the Holocaust is a really good example of how bad it can be, right?
You literally have no choices
Right.
in what you do every day.
It's the worst, right? And he made it through that by kind of living this philosophy, and that's kind of what the book's about, and so
it's your mind.
yeah, because it's so cliche, the one thing nobody can take from you is your mind, right? But like you have to like work on it, take care of it, and do all the things, right? Like you can't just abuse it with social media constantly. You have to do other things to nurture it and have it be good, and that's kind of in my aging stuff that I do with my clients. That's the mind stuff that we do, right? Is like, how do we help your mind age well, right? By not focusing on this negative stuff, having, being grateful.
Well, it's what you surround yourself with, right? Your environment shapes so much of your thoughts and
100%.
everything. The people you surround yourself, the people that you spend every day with. If you're in a job that you hate and the people that you hate, like, leave the job, find a different one. Like, there's options. It might make life harder, but there are always options.
Well, I had this girl on my podcast one time, and she basically quit her job to become an artist, right?
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
But, like, she did it. Now, she had to really adjust her lifestyle, right? Because, she's not a famous artist, so she's not making a ton of money. And I think a lot of times we get jobs because we need money.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole reason most people work, right?
Right. And, like, back in the day, like a long time ago, there was like Picasso, like, and he was just like an artist running around, or there was like a guy that he just shoot horses or whatever else. And these guys probably did this jobs because they were either like their family did that, or they were interested in it, or that's what they wanted. They felt like they should always shoot horses or whatever it was.
Well, most of them weren't even famous until after.
Right. So they did what they felt like their purpose was, you know what I mean? And somewhere along the way where we had to like make money, your purpose kind of got put to the side to make money first, right? So like with a lot of my clients, I'm like, if you're not doing something you love, like currently for your work, then we need to find something to do that you love too, right? Like, and that would be amazing if it could be your job, but like maybe it's not. Maybe it's just
in a lot of cases that isn't the case.
Yeah, maybe just be your hobby, but like we gotta have somewhere to put some positive energy out. Instead of like all this, like especially if you don't like your job, you don't like your coworkers, all that stuff. We gotta find somewhere to let some of that go and put it into something good. But I think a lot of people don't do that,
No, and people don't want to do the extra work.
And that requires extra work.
It gives you more energy, surprisingly enough. Like if you have purpose outside of just going to work, going to bed, going to work, going to bed. Like if you have something that you're excited about after work, you wouldn't believe how much more energy you're going to have just from that little bit of like hope and that little bit of work and that little bit of thing that you enjoy every day.
You made me think of like, some of what gives me purpose is my daughter. But sometimes people put all of that into their kids and that's
really toxic.
Right. And so like, when I think about that, it's like, oh yeah, like my daughter's definitely part of my purpose, but like, taking care of my clients is part of my purpose. And like putting out the podcast weirdly is now part of like my purpose of like who I am.
Yeah.
And so like all those things don't involve any social media. They don't involve any the stuff I'm taking in is just to make me better for the things that are most important to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like I've seen it where there's people that put everything into their kids to the point where they literally have nothing outside of life, and then their kids grow up. So you have a small window. You have a small window, because as soon as they hit about 12, 13, heading into those teen years, especially when they hit like that 15, 16, they have friends that can drive, they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone at that point. You have a very, very short window where like that can be your whole world.
I'm lucky that I have the flexibility of my job that I can take my daughter to school some, right? And I never pass up an opportunity to take her to school, and I never pass an opportunity to pick her up from school. And I always look at it as like, I don't have to, I get to. I get to spend time with her. I get to pick her up from school and stuff like that. And this has been some of the most best bonding times we have. Like, she loves music, so we listen to music and we sing songs, and and it's amazing, and it's time I spend with her. And I really think that, we think about with our kids, like these big events, these big things, like, all this big stuff that, the sporting events they have to go to, the Christmas and all that kind of stuff.
The dances,
all the things. But really, you're with them like every day.
Yeah.
It's the day to day.
And that's not even like the whole day. Like they're at school a big chunk of the day. You're at work, so you have a very small window too.
Yeah, like when she's in school, I only see her from like basically like 5 p.m. to 9 when she goes to bed for those 4 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And the mornings are so quick.
Yeah, and a lot of times I'm working and my girlfriend's taking care of her, so like I don't get to see her in the morning. And so like, I just really want to invest in it now because I am older and I have friends that have older kids. I know these things, right? I know that she's going to be like, peace out, Dad. Peace out, Mom. I want to go do this.
We were all teenagers.
Yeah.
We knew how we felt.
And so like, I want to put that time in now because she does mean so much to me. And it does motivate me to like.
This is going to be the rare time that you're going to be the whole world.
Oh, yeah. And for a while, I was like, oh, I can't wait till I'm not her whole world. It's like we go to like an indoor play place or whatever, and then like she'd be like, well, Daddy, will you play with me? I was like, why don't you make some friends? No, I want to play with you. And I'm like, oh, make some friends. Like
that's an even smaller window right there
yeah.
too, because as soon as they get about like 5, 6 into school, then it starts to change a little bit when they start making friends.
Oh, like right now, like so I tell people that we go to McDonald's every Saturday. You're like, you're a horrible parent. You take your kid to McDonald's every Saturday. The only person that's suffering is me because, right, she just wants to go to play on the indoor playgrounds. She doesn't eat. We get food, but she doesn't eat it. I eat. So I end up eating McDonald's, and she ends up like she will
all this for the play place.
And because she'll go, Daddy, I want to go to the play place so I can make friends. I want to go meet some new people. I want to go make friends. I'm like, okay. I go, but understand we might not make friends today. She's like, cool. You know what I mean? But she always wants to make friends. So it's already starting. She's such a little people person. She loves people so much. You know what I mean?
And you want to encourage that.
Oh, yeah. Like she has no problem like going up to people and talking. I was so like shy and wouldn't talk to anyone. Her mom will talk to anybody too. And so it's just been so great because like I want her to have a voice. Like, like I tell people all the time, like this sounds bad, but like my relationship with girls changed after I had a daughter, which I think is totally normal for maybe a guy, whatever.
Yeah.
But like the way like I approach everything about the women in my life has like totally changed, and that's because of her too.
Like it's a different type of love that you didn't realize.
Well, and just like your kids are, I forgot what book this is in, but your kids are a chain and everyone else is a string. Meaning that everyone else can be cut out of your life, but your kids are to you forever. Like, like you decided to do this. And so I take that like super seriously. I want to try to make sure we have a good relationship, at least on my end, as much as I can.
And I think it's really like, it takes a lot more work for like dads than moms. Moms, there's kind of already a connection.
Well, she's like, I'm learning on the fly.
Yeah.
Like the other day she came to me and she was like, she goes, Daddy, my vagina's red.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, I don't know what to do.
I can only imagine being a girl dad too.
Yeah. Like, I was like, I go, okay, well, let me take a look. And I go, yeah, it's red. And I go, let's go wake up mommy. Like I was
like, I don't know what to do with
that. I don't know. Like I just don't know, And so like, You know?
It's more of an instinct with moms. Like, it's just something that comes natural.
Well,
You're the nurturer. You take care of those things, right?
And she just, I mean, and she just kind of knows, and especially when it comes to like girl stuff. And so it's just me and her like learning all together. You know what I mean? And that's been really great. I very much am grateful to have this relationship over maybe having a son. Because if I were to have a son, I would do the thing that all dads do. I would try to make him like me. And so the fact that we don't, and I don't want her to be like me, you know what I mean? It's so much better.
You're like, please be like mommy.
No, I'm just like, even if I had a son, I would know this. I want them to be themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I see so many people and kids that are impacted by the relationships of their parents and things like that, and how they don't get through stuff and never get past stuff. And I just want to try to make sure that I know that I'm not going to do everything great. But like, am I just aware and conscious and present enough to try to do the best I can? So if I do make a mistake, it does get messy, then I can just like, you know, I can just go, hey, sorry, let's reset. I'm still here for you. She trusts that. She knows me well enough. That would be great.
Well, nobody's perfect, right? We're all going to make mistakes, and especially in parenting.
Well, I mean, she calls me out all the time, like on stuff. You know what I mean? Like, she's super aware and super present, and like, and I kind of appreciate it in a weird way. You know what I mean? So like,
well, it's an accountability thing. It's
Yeah.
no different than working a job and getting criticism, like constructive criticism back, right? It's a good thing.
Right.
Like, tell me how I can be better.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we should have that more just all around in life.
Well, I mean, you know, I think I even maybe said it, like, I'm always asking for feedback.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like, and people give me the worst feedback, right? You know, they'll be like, you probably shouldn't wear sunglasses. I'm like, well, what if I told you that these were prescription and my eyes are sensitive to light? Would that make a difference?
And then you got light right in your
Right?
face.
Would that make
makes
would that make a
sense.
difference? Right? You know, and so like, that's not the kind of feedback I'm looking for, but like, you know, people give that feedback, so I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I just
Well, there's a lot of people that don't know what kind of feedback. Like, if you're asking for feedback and then they're like, well,
It's
I guess
great.
I know. Yeah, like, I don't know what to tell you because I'm not sure what you can improve on.
Right.
You know, not everyone's educated enough to give good feedback.
and I'm always cool with that. It's just, you know, it's one of those things where like, I'm at a place where I want to grow and be better. And when you get to a place where you're going to grow and be better, you stop really, well, for me, I stopped looking at everything as necessarily criticism or that like other people are right or what they're saying, I have to change it. It's just their opinion. Maybe they say something really cool I've never thought of, and maybe I can take that. Or maybe they say something that like totally insults me that I go, well, they don't really know what I'm doing, or maybe they don't understand. Or if it insults me, I go, why is that insult? Why am I getting all work? Maybe I should process that. Maybe why is that triggering me? Like, maybe there's something I need to work on. You know, I try to take all of it in a grain of salt, but then sometimes you get stuff like, don't wear sunglasses.
And that's the stuff you gotta kind of just shrug off.
I mean,
Well,
obviously I didn't listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you shouldn't take anything personal. It's just constructive feedback. Like, it's just, hey, this can help you.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I did it to my boss the other day. I was like, oh, I think we could fix this at work. Like, I don't mind giving it, and I don't mind taking it. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter who it is. I treat everyone the same, though.
But I think your point, you know, my daughter's really open to opinions and stuff, right? She wants to know, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess, you know, we become an adult and we protect our ego with our opinions and things like that, and then we don't do that. So to your point, like, you know,
Well, it also depends on how you're treated too, right? Like, so if you express yourself and you were like hated on as a child,
Sure.
that can affect it too. Or like, I grew up feeling like I couldn't express myself, so it took me a lot of work to get to the point where I am now, where I can take it and I can give it because of how I grew up.
Yeah, and I would say mine's pretty similar too. Like the same thing, you know, like I wasn't allowed to really make decisions, and so, you know, it really kind of impacted me in a way I just didn't know.
Yeah, and you have to work through that stuff as an adult, because now we've morphed into this person that's worried so much about other people's opinions and our own like voice in our head too, like just kind of constantly critiquing yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like it only gets worse and amplified with like social media. Right?
Oh yeah,
You know
because
what I
now you're scrolling and you're seeing these perfect highlight reels,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Like these edited videos that were made specifically for social media. You have no idea the fight that happened behind the scenes
Sure,
on
yeah.
the way into this video, you know?
Well, you said something earlier, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you feel this way or not. Do you feel like sometimes if you edit a video too good, it's almost like it loses its, like, you know,
Feels fake.
yeah, the one you said, you're like, oh, I just kind of threw it up there, and it was like one of my biggest videos, right? Like the ones I watch, like, you know, you see the person turn the camera off, you know, like they're not perfect, and almost if it's perfect, it's like, it almost, maybe it gets seen, but like not liked or something. I don't know. It's kind of wild.
It doesn't stand out to somebody. I feel like the little messy parts are like what like makes it feel real, and then somebody pulls it.
100%. Like, and you know, the perfectionist part of me that wants to do really good work wants to make really nice videos, and it's hard for me to let go of the idea that maybe it needs to be a little messy. Maybe they need to see what I'm doing. That's not always kosher, you know what I mean?
Well, we were just talking about me filming with my phone.
No, I mean, it's fantastic though, yeah.
And it's surprising too, because like your iPhone gets a great image now.
Oh yeah.
So,
like while I'm on this like little tour, like I have a little camera that I use. It's like a little zoom camera that I use, but I also like use my phone a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's on me, so it's a great tool. You know what I mean?
It's almost more of a pain to set up a camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so easy to just pull my phone out.
Yeah, and just set it up.
Yeah. Like, I do another podcast now. I don't know. You might have seen a clip or two on my socials. But, like, I joined another podcast that has 4 people. And, like, we all set up our phones and go live on the counter. Like, just...
Some of my favorite podcasts I've ever listened to, there was this lady, she's a therapist. And she just took her iPhone and just set it in the kitchen in the middle of her friends while they were having a conversation. The conversation was fascinating. You could hear it was clear. I mean, you could tell it was an iPhone in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But I didn't care because I just wanted to hear what they had to say. You know what I mean?
It was interesting conversation.
It's interesting conversation. Absolutely. Yeah. So like it's, you know, content is great. You know what I mean? And having good content is great. And sometimes, you know, the audio matters and doesn't matter.
Yeah, it depends on what it is too, right?
Yeah, true, yeah.
I think, so like my husband's into cars and stuff. He doesn't want to see a crappy video of somebody driving by with a cell phone, right? Like he wants to see like the cool, like, like actual photography, drones, all that kind of stuff. And the sound's got to be good. But like, for the most part, for your average person who's scrolling, I'm going to get a bigger kick out of a dog that fell off the counter than, you know what I mean?
The video being awesome, right?
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I'd rather see a dog just slide right off of this. I had my dog actually up here one time. She knocked down everything. I have a video of that. And, like, it's just funnier, you know, than I don't care if it's perfect production.
Yeah, for sure.
Clearly, I called this messy on purpose.
Yes, for sure.
We've been going for a hot minute, huh? It's almost 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God.
You got another one to go to, too, don't you?
Well, I have one that I'm recording tonight, and then there was this guy that I was kind of messaging with that lives here, but he wouldn't message me back, and right before I got here, he messaged me back, and so I was like, well, maybe if we can work something out, maybe I can swing over. I don't know where he lives. But you know, it's like
the valley's not that big.
Well, you know, but coming over here, I was like, you know, I don't know what time to leave, and then I showed up so early, and I was like, I felt so bad because I was like so early.
Oh yeah, it's not a big deal.
You know, but I mean, but like it's one of those things like, you know, when you're not from somewhere, you have no idea what traffic's like.
Well, and then Ubers, you just never know. That could add 20 minutes just waiting on one.
For sure, and then you know. Right now there's this whole strikes, you know, the Congress is out, right?
Oh,
and so
yeah.
There's the whole strike thing going, so that the airports, like I'm like, well, if I go to the airport, like, is it going to be backed up? I don't know. I'm going like 2 hours early to make sure, and like it's been like I get in there like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh,
it's like nothing.
Nothing, and I was like,
what? The Vegas airport's the best. Like
quick.
Very, very quick.
Awesome.
I've never had to be there super early. We usually have like 20, 30 minutes, and like we end up waiting.
I fly to California tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, that's a quick shot, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's like an hour, I think.
And it's in the middle of the week. Yeah, you'll be so quick.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, well, we'll wrap up. Do you want to finish with any last messages or anything?
A
little piece of advice?
Well, I guess I could do my whole shtick, kind of like what I do. I always tell people, like, you know, find ways to just be the best version of yourself so you can be good for everybody else. Right? So like when I wrap up my podcast, I'll always ask people like, what do you do to be the best version of yourself? And the things that I do to be the best version of myself is, you know, like real basic stuff. Drink plenty of water, get plenty of sleep, try to eat good food, try to serve other people, try to be a good person, you know, like these are simple things, right? And so, you know, you might do these things and like visually and physically you might not look like an Adonis, but your body's going to feel better, you're going to feel better, and you're going to show up better for the people around you. And really, ultimately, the best gift you can give people is, you know, the experience that they have with you, right? You know what I mean? Like the interaction they have with you. And if it's shitty, then they didn't have, you know, they go on carrying that.
Yeah.
But if you leave them with a good feeling, you know, I love to go into like a gas station, just ask the gas attendant how they're doing. You know, I mean, people are just like, you know, shoving cigarettes in their face all day and behind stuff, not even asking them how they're doing. And like, they're people too. And like, just anytime you get that moment. So like, yeah, like I try to do the things that make me the best version of myself. So when I show up in the real world for everybody else, that they have a good experience with me.
And that's the only way to live, man. Like, you just gotta, my husband was making fun of me because like I laugh just like in conversation sometimes. Might not be the funniest joke, but it made them feel good that they thought they were funny, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like, I just stuff like that, and he's like, why do you have to be like a golden retriever? I was like, it makes other people feel good.
Yeah.
You know? If I changed one person's day just by being nice in the grocery store.
You're engaged, you're present with them.
Yeah.
There's no greater feeling than the ability to be present with another person and really just them, both people be there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it probably happens a lot romantically. We think of it romantically, but like, you know, like when you have good conversations with people, you meet some random guy on the plane, you have a good conversation with him or whatever else it is, right? But you have to show up for those things. And a lot of people, they're like, well, I don't have any of that. They also don't show up that way. You don't show up for that, you know what I mean? Like you're showing up for someone to do it for you or someone to help you. Well, how are you showing up, you know,
that's
for that?
such a selfish way to look at it too. Like, it's all about you. Well, have you ever thought that you don't know what that person's going through and maybe laughing at their joke changed their entire day?
Well, I just think that like to show engagement with another, I mean, like it's like, you know, like there's nothing, like you've seen it, like little kid be like, mommy, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. And they just want you just to like, look at the picture I made.
Yeah.
That's all they want. And tell them that that's really cool. I'm sure you worked really hard on that. That's all they want. And weirdly, as adults, we want like very similar things, right? So why can't you? Why, you know, when that person tells you a joke, why can't you just say, hey man, that was funny? You know what I mean? Like,
you don't even have to like say anything.
Yeah,
just a simple smile or a little giggle or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like everything, you know, appreciation is really kind of, you know, in a way of what you're looking for. You know, I appreciate that someone shared this with me, that they felt that I would think it's funny. I look at it all like that. You know, when people spend time with me, I look at it as like, wow, they chose to spend the time they have with me. Even if they're not totally present for that time, they chose to spend it with me, so I should feel grateful and I should give them a great experience as well.
It's that simple. And we just need a little more of that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Just a simple smile. All right, guys, until next time. Bye.
Bye.